আসসালামু আলাইকুম রহমতুল্লাহি বারাকাতুহু। আমার নাম্বার অস্ট্রেলিয়াতুন আজ 17 তারিখ 3 মার্চ 2018 আজ অস্ট্রেলিয়া সিডনি অরতুন আছে হাজগুড়ি ডেমনস্ট্রেশন ইবাদ আছে 11,000 হালগুড়ি আরকান টাইমস টিমর তরবতুন যেদিন আছে যেদিন অনলাইনের মধ্যে আছে বা দেখুন আছে কমান দিবা হাজগুড়ি আছে জীবা নাকি বনমার ডিফেক্ট লেটার অনসানসু যে হয়ে দিবা নাকি আর কম করে আর মা বোনেদের আর বাবা বোনেদের অত্যাচার বুঝছে আর দ্বন্দ্ব দেখুন যেদিন হারি লফালাই আছে ভাই এটা আইয়ের জীবা নাকি আছে মিটিং এটেন নিয়ে যায় ইবাম মাঝে আইয় আছে এই বে ডইলা বডিলা মিছা হতা আইয়ের হারি বল্লা দে বা আছে বাসি বল্লা বলি আর জীবা নাকি আইয়ের সিমেন্ট মিশিনের মাঝে জীবা নাকি আইয়ের এটেন নিয়ে যায় ইয়ার মাঝে আছে আর উগো বান্ধা আছে ক্ষমান মাঝে আইয়ের বা আছে অনরা যেদুর হারে দূর যে ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ লিয়ার হারে ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ লিয়ার লিখি আর আমরা শেয়ার লিয়ার মধ্যে আপনার তোমাদের বই করি আর ভাই এখন বেশি ভাই এনে আছে যেগুলো অনলাইনের মাঝে আছে তারা আছে শেয়ার বি বলা রিকোয়েস্ট করি আর বেশি ভাই এনে লিখি বলা বলি আছে রিকোয়েস্ট করি কাজ করি যেদিন নাকি আসে বেকুর রোহিঙ্গার কমিউনিটির তরফতুন এরা অন্যান্য মিডিয়াগুলো আসছে কাজ করি বেশি ভাই এনে আছে ইনশাল্লাহ আরও বহুত আইডি ভাই এনকল আছে ওনারা আছে যেদূর বার হয় দূরে আছে কমান দিবাল্লা দিয়ে লিখি বলা বলি আছে আর
Ikke gå fag i hver matte teg.
Hva er det ikke?
Vi har Arkan Times, Timor, Facebook Live. জীবন কি লেট আসছে আছে অনেক কিছু যাই মন্ত্রী হঠাৎ করে ভাবো তো যাই চলে ইদারে মূর্তি আর গনের ছাড়া হচ্ছে যখন একটু যন্ত্র হ্যালো এবারে লাইভ সালাদটা হোক দুদিন আরো হ্যালো হ্যালো
Hello, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Biakun ashade Allah bi shukriya. Has gurida se Queensland ashade tara ar Melbourne te udukun ashe anar bayindara boyindara to itara biakun shukriya. Ek dunote da sa host guriya ashade tomara yana ashade Allah shukriya. To ara to sare garden yalba protest guri wala bole da last minute moddhe gojjilam na to era da sa udukun restriction diwa. Yan da sa udukun Melbourne guri ara jawpai da sa gya guri dibo. Explain with you jawab.
Assalamu alaikum. Begin. Arada se pulisare gya kanun mozinda se 7 din time diya hore ara 7 din time dina hari ara tu emergency hisabe 2 din time diya taratari gori bala hojje to condition hisabe ara approve gojje te head hodun condition diwa ara ki ure hole eta da se honikya manush climb gori na hari oru gasar ore yar ore bal da se এটা গার্ডেনের মাঝে তো অনেক অনুষ্ঠান নর্মাল অনুষ্ঠান হলে তো আর বানা কমিউনিটির পরে গোড়া রোহিঙ্গার মধ্যে আছে নাম্বারা বয়ান তুই অনেকে ওরা তো হুশিয়ার করা হইব বুঝামর বেগিন আছে জজ ভালো করে বেগিন আছে গুছি হয়ে দিয়ে আন্দাছে আর বেগিন হইবারে কিন্তু আছে গুছিয়ারে কন্ট্রোল করা হইব আর তুই মাঝে তো ইনশাআল্লাহ আর তুই ইয়ার আগে হলে কিছু মাঝে মামলা ন তো ইবাম মাঝে আর তো ইজ্জত সাথে সুন্দর করে আছে পিসফুলি ঘুরে যাই করে আর বেগিন আশা করি অথন ওনারা যদি কিছু মজবুত হইতে হইলে কিছু যদি কোয়েশ্চেন থাকে তো হইলে মরাসে ইনশাআল্লাহ আইভারিবে আর দাসে জাওয়াশম মাঝে দাসে বেনা জিন আসিন দাসে বেগিনে অনেকক্ষণ জায়গা মানে জুম আর মানুষ আছে এটা হিতা দাসে ফেরা লেবো তো জাওয়াশম মাঝে আমি শিরে চিন্তা করি এটা অনেকক্ষণ দাসে রাবিশ এন্ড লাফা লাইর না যাইবল্লা দাসে মু বেগিনে রিকোয়েস্ট করব আসসালামু আলাইকুম তো আর দাসে কিয়া জোয়া আর দাসে এটা বডিলা মিডিয়া কল আসি তো অনারা আইরে হঠাৎ হুসাল লইবতে মিডিয়া কল আইরে যোগাযোগ করে তো তাইবো তো তাহলে দাসে মিডিয়া পার্সোনালি তো অন দাসে সুযোগ দিন ওনারা দাসে মেহরবানি করি কেলা দাসে মিডিয়া বাদি বাদা জেন ইনফরমেশন দিলে হ্যাঁ দাসে বডিলা হতাকল বডিলা বজর বডিলা হওয়া হিলা ন মান আর মানুষ অজ্ঞ আসি মিডিয়া লাউরি হয়ে দেয় এই বাদা সুযোগ দিন মেহরবানি করি ওনারা নাসে যদি অনেকে মিডিয়া আসি দলে কি বারে বারগাড়া দিবা মানুষই কই দে যেই বা ইবা হতুম বাজাই বই বাদা সে উবার ওড়া করি গম্মা কাউরি গিয়ে মানুষই বা দেখা দিবা নামইদে সুযোগ দিন আসসালামু আলাইকুম
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mohammed Junaid, and first of all, I would like to thanks to everyone who have came here, and thanks to media channels. First of all, let us acknowledge traditional owner of the land we have gathered today. We pay our respect to the elders of past and present. This is our Aboriginal land, and always will be. I would like to thank everyone on behalf of the RCA, Burmese Rohingya community in Australia, for your solidarity who is going through a genocidal campaign by Burmese genocidal military regime, and their crimes are defended by Aung San Suu Kyi. And it is a shame once human rights icon is defending horrific human rights abusers for her political, racial interests. And shame on them who are continually supporting her despite her denial of genocide against Rohingya people. Today we are gathered here to tell the world leaders, including Australian leaders, it is not acceptable to use the misery of genocide victims for the political and economic interest. And the international community must classify crime against Rohingya as genocide. And it is genocide because it is clearly a genocide, and the world leader must act urgently to prevent further killings of innocent people and must take action against the murderous Burmese regime, including Aung San Suu Kyi. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a few speakers here today who have come here from different regions of Australia, such as Queensland, Melbourne, and other cities of Sydney as well. I would like to introduce our first speaker, who is the leader of National Union of Students, Australian National Union of Students. Her name is Harsha, and she would like to highlight about condemnation of Australia's military cooperation with Myanmar. Thank you.
Hi, thanks for that, Junaid. I'm actually the National Union of Students ethno-cultural officer. I think it's very important for students to be standing in solidarity with the victims of genocide. But firstly, I just want to acknowledge the land that we're standing on again. It's the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. This land was actually stolen from them. Their sovereignty was never ceded. And when we talk about the actions of the Australian government supporting genocidal regimes overseas, it's also important to remember the racist foundations of this nation. So I pay my respects to elders, both past and present. And I'm here because students are outraged that the Australian government is giving support to genocide. The Australian government backs down the line of the Myanmar military, even though it's carrying out a project of ethnic cleansing in the Rakhine State. Internationally, these are recognised as crimes against humanity. Even representatives of Trump's regime recognise this as ethnic cleansing. Homes burnt down, people killed, tortured and raped. There is no doubt that these were planned before they were carried out by military forces and local government authorities. Many Rohingya Muslims are interned in camps in the Rakhine State, and groups in the Rakhine have actually stopped the shipment of aid to these camps. Consequently, there are over 671,000 Rohingya at last count fleeing into southern Bangladesh if they can make it. Many are trapped at the border awaiting their chance to cross. And the muddy camps and unsanitary conditions that they have to endure there are dangerous too. The government doesn't just turn a blind eye to all of this here in Australia though, it answers the accusations of genocide by repeatedly saying it's in Australia's interest to maintain a close link to the Myanmar military. This is a very cold and calculating statement that is at odds with its so-called claim to be helping the region adhere to humanitarian values. In reality, it prefers to have strong military allies in the region, whatever the human cost. And now the government has extended its support to the regime again by inviting Aung San Suu Kyi to speak in Sydney at the ASEAN summit. For too long has the world allowed Suu Kyi to be called a human rights leader. As the de facto ruler of Myanmar, she has responsibility over what is occurring within her own state and what the military, which she relies on for her power, is doing. She has refused to denounce the genocide, and so students say that she is complicit in the genocide. The Australian government is well aware of this, But Julie Bishop still says that Suu Kyi can't be blamed for what's happening. In fact, the government is putting almost $400,000 into direct funding for the Tatmadaw, the Myanmar military. They claim it's not unethical because it's for English lessons and, again, humanitarian assistance. We believe that there's no way the government can fund the Myanmar military without condoning genocide. It's unsurprising in a lot of ways that the government would be so callous. Look at how it treats refugees trying to get to safety in Australia. They turn back boats or lock them up in squalid camps on Nauru and Manus Island. Muslims here too are persecuted by the government and demonised in the press. So it's unsurprising that the Australian government doesn't care about Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar either. And I think this all fits with the broader project of the Australian government, which is spending billions of dollars on war machines, refugee torture and support for genocidal regimes, and all the while cutting billions from education and other services that students like myself rely on. Student activists in the National Union of Students are horrified with what's happening to Rohingya Muslims and will keep fighting in solidarity as long as the Australian government shows its utter lack of commitment to human rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Harsha, for concluding the whole global refugee crisis and especially the Rohingya crisis, for highlighting and concluding the issue. And we will continue with our chanting. The chanting will be led by our Sejauddin uncle.
Now let's start the chanting with shame Aung San Suu Kyi for her failing to protect human rights. Shame, shame!
Shame on you!
Aung San Suu Kyi, shame on you!
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Repeat the shame on you, repeat. Shame on you, shame on you. Aung San Suu Kyi, shame on you!
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Aung San Suu Kyi, shame on you!
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Aung San Suu Kyi, shame on you!
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Her defenders, shame on you too!
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Her defenders, shame on you!
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Military army criminals!
Criminals! Criminals!
Burmese army criminals!
Criminals! Criminals!
These brothers are criminals too!
Criminals! Criminals!
Criminals! Criminals!
Criminals! Criminals!
Burmese army
Criminals!
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 Burmese army
Criminals!
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 These brothers criminals!
Criminals!
Aung San Suu Kyi, shame on you!
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Aung San Suu Kyi, shame on you!
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Her supporters, shame on you!
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Her defenders, shame on you!
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Let's continue our program. Thank you.
Thank you, Sejauddin uncle. And we will continue with our protest. I would like to invite our second speaker, who is a representative from Dhaka, Burmese Rohingya organization in Queensland, association in Queensland. And his name is Haki. Brother Haki.
Now, do you know that over 600,000 Rohingyas have fled to Bangladesh in the past 2 months' time of the crisis? Thousands of women and adolescents were raped. Can you even imagine witnessing the rape and murder of your families and friends? How can we stand by when the Rohingya genocide takes place just on our doorstep? Good afternoon, everyone. Let us acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are meeting today. I am Nur Hakim from Burmese Rohingya Associations in Queensland, Australia. Thank you, Burmese Rohingya community of Australia, for allowing us to be here and speak about the Rohingya genocide. Along with myself, I've got Salim, who will continue right after me. Rohingya, the indigenous ethnic minorities of Myanmar, and the Myanmar government have restricted Rohingyas from freedom of movement, education, marriage, basic human rights, and citizenship rights. Even they have restricted having more than 2 children. By now, you may all be aware that the United Nations have described it as a textbook example of ethnic cleansing. Myanmar government have been doing this for many decades, and now over 700 Rohingya have fled to Bangladesh since the ethnic cleansing has started on the 25th of August 2017, which has made a total Rohingya refugee over 1 million now in Bangladesh. The deliberate killing of Rohingya is a complete genocide, and it has caused one of the fastest refugee influx in the modern history. The extrajudicial killings have not come to an end, and it's still continuing today. Thousands of people were killed and are still being slaughtered in Myanmar. This is a crime against humanity. There have been continuous findings of mass graves, and many more graves are yet to be discovered. Hundreds of women and children are raped, and the Myanmar militaries have killed thousands of parents, and now they have created thousands of orphans. With the evidence of satellite images, over 300 villages are absolutely burnt down, and at least 55 villages were cleared to landscapes, erasing the evidence of genocide and mass graves of Rohingya. Now the 1 million Rohingya refugees are suffering from the lack of shelter, food and medical needs in Bangladesh. UNHCR refugee chef has said that Rohingya refugees are the only refugees I have seen that have fled a country with a very little belongings. With all these apparent evidences, United Nations and other media have produced several statements, and the Myanmar government have been accused for genocide and ethnic cleansing of Rohingya. But the Myanmar government denies the accusations and have asked for evidence for the accusations. However, the twist is that the Myanmar government have not allowed any independent media to enter the affected area in Rakhine State, because the Myanmar government knows that the truth about their devastating actions will be captured. On top of that, Myanmar government did not provide UN to enter into the affected areas to find the facts and evidence of the genocide. Now, if there is no ethnic cleansing and genocide, why is Myanmar government not allowing independent media and UN fact-finding mission to visit the affected areas? Why is there now over 1 million Rohingya refugees influx into Bangladesh who have left everything behind? The fact is that the Myanmar government have been repeatedly lying to the international community about the genocide. My fellow Australians, do you know what Australia is doing about this? The Foreign Minister, Julie Bishop, has said Australia is deeply concerned, yet she has avoided directly condemning either the Myanmar government or the military. This is not good enough at all. Australia needs to step up and do something about this disaster. We cannot afford to ignore the killings and displacement of about 1 million innocent Rohingya, most of whom are Muslim women and children, and they are all fled to Bangladesh. And yet, Australia is training the Myanmar militaries, the same militaries that have murdered thousands of Rohingya. How can Australia take such an irresponsible action? That is absolutely contradictory to our democratic values. Don't you all reckon that? Documents released under Freedom of Information laws show that Australian Defence Department has been spending almost 400,000 to train the Myanmar militaries. Is that what Australia is valued for? Is Australia breaking its values and respect? That's not what we do as Australians, is it? Myanmar's armed forces have faced international condemnation and accusations of ethnic cleansing in recent months for perpetrating substantial attacks against the Rohingya. However, Australia has so far devised from its values and resisted calls from groups such as Amnesty International and human rights officials. Amnesty International Crisis Campaign Coordinator Diana Saeed has said the Australian government's strategy of continued engagement and careful diplomacy cannot be justified. This business as usual approach is unacceptable. It is only going to further damage Australia's international reputation, especially as Australia takes up its seat on the UN human rights officials. The decision of the US, the UK and the EU to cut ties and the recent sanctions imposed by Canada all show that Australia is on the path to the rise of the world when it comes to this crisis. Local newspapers have reported that the descent of Rohingya population has been displaced from Myanmar. And what can the international media do to stop this catastrophic event and bring peace and harmony? We urge the international communities to put continuous pressure on Myanmar government until they put a full stop to the ethnic and we restore all the rights of Rohingya. We also urge the International Criminal Court to force the Myanmar government to allow international media to enter the Rakhine state to show the world what the Myanmar militants have exactly done to the lands and people of Rohingya in Rakhine state. We also urge ICC to bring the culprits behind this death, to bring them to justice, to bring Myanmar government to comply all the demands of United Nations and to find a durable solution to the crisis. As the Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh are in constant need of help, more humanitarian aids are required to provide medical and healthcare needs, as well as food and essential materials. Furthermore, this is not the time to build a friendship with such a brutal government. It's time to put sanctions against Myanmar. The Australian government should immediately use all its influences and means to stop the military crackdown on the Rohingya. Australia should take the opportunity to show leadership in the international response to this ongoing crisis. Australia should work with the key states in the region to bring political pressure to end the attacks on Rohingya and allow for a fair and independent investigation by UN in the Rakhine state and examine what has happened and bring the perpetrator to justice. We would like to take the opportunity to urge our fellow Australians to raise your voice against this man-made catastrophe before it is too late, so that we can all do something to save the remaining Rohingya population. Please talk to your local members and government to bring emotional in Australian Parliament to stop Australian support to Myanmar. Therefore, we work side by side with you to stop this ongoing genocide against Rohingya in Myanmar. Please save the remaining Rohingya in Myanmar. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum. I kata sini ya tu ada hatakan holia. Arab betul semua tu hatakan holia bari. Mana masih itu yang mana itu. Yang mana tu holia ayat on San Suu Kyi holia. Ratu holia tu shame on you, shame on you. Kuat Allah marat. Dilambar tu boleh hard defender. And holia orang holia tu shame on you, shame on you. Thabar hobo tu dilambar tu boleh Burmese military. And hoile itu juga asik bahaya orang tu holia tu boleh criminal, criminal. Thabar hobo tu dilambar tu boleh their defenders. And hoile orang tu holia tu criminal, criminal juga. First number, stop genocide and hoile right now, right now. Second number, justice for Rohingya hoile right now, right now. Are you ready? Are you ready? All right. Now, Aung San Suu Kyi,
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Aung San Suu Kyi,
Shame on you! Shame on you!
hard defenders,
Shame on you! Shame on you!
hard defenders,
Shame on you! Shame on you!
Burmese military,
Criminals! Criminals!
Burmese military,
Criminals! Criminals!
their defenders,
Criminals! Criminals!
Right now.
stop genocide,
Right now!
stop genocide,
Right now! Right now!
justice for Rohingya,
Right now! Right now!
justice for Rohingya.
Right now! Right now!
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mahbub. And then now I would like to call our next speaker, Salim, Brother Salim, who has declared himself to see the vulnerable situation of the innocent Rohingya who is facing currently. And he would like to share some of his experience, and then he would also like to address the status of the survivors and post-genocide. Thank you.
Maybe she doesn't know what's going on around the world. Maybe she's just pretending. Or maybe she's just ignorant. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about that pompous tweet, or I can say tyrant, so-called some sort of prize winner Aung San Suu Kyi, whom majority of the world, or can I say, the whole of the world admired. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to start off by thanking Bangladesh for their generosity for the acceptance of Rohingya refugees. Now, if you have any ideas where Bangladesh is located, I think most of you should probably know by now, it is one of the most, or can I say the most densely populated country in the world. And being that, it had the generosity of heart to give shelter to over 1 million Rohingya that are in need in this country. I had the chance to have visited the persecuted nation in the world, majority of whom are currently sheltering in Bangladesh. Now, up until December 2017, I used to always hear about the systematic persecution and mass killing of Rohingya in Myanmar, the strategic operation against Rohingya, and stories of the thousands who have been subjected to extreme persecution. I have seen footage of scenes where Rohingya civilians have been depicted no less than animals. They have been butchered by the Burmese militants and authorities. And I have seen photos, ladies and gentlemen, of mountains and flat valleys made of nothing but totally packed dead bodies of Rohingya. In my recent visit to Bangladesh, I have encountered hundreds of thousands of tortured and Rohingya in a complete dire situation. Ladies and gentlemen, the condition there cannot be expressed by any means of words. It's outrageous. It's disturbing. And it's totally unacceptable. Now, as I stepped in the camp on a cold winter morning in Bangladesh, it's called Kutuhalan Camp. I saw the sky filled with dust. Roads are not roads, but to be cold. Filthy mud puddles. Where thousands of Rohingya children spend days in and out. I saw Rohingya babies crying for food on the street, crying for hours, while the other member of the family simply coughing out blood, and blood that does not look like blood, quite thickish, I must say. And I've also seen children from 6 years to 60-year-old elderly Rohingya, majority of whom suffer from diseases like osteoporosis, coronary heart disease, carcinoma, malignant melanoma. Now, to give you an idea as a health professional, these are the diseases that can cost your life in no time, or can I say in a period of less than about 3 to 5 years. And people with this kind of diseases perform hard labor work all day long, just for some cash, as little as $2 Australian. Now, can you imagine that? Kids like these, ladies and gentlemen, are supposed to be at school like our little brothers and sisters, our sons and daughters, building a future. And there they are, ladies and gentlemen, starving for a few meals on a daily basis. Now, you might ask the question that there is humanitarian aid. Yes, there is. But ladies and gentlemen, there are people who don't have access, who don't have the energy to drive themselves to get this assistance. Ladies and gentlemen,